Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? What's going on? What's good, yo? It's good to be heard. It's good to be seen. I know some of you will be watching this on YouTube. It's your boy Brandon. We're back here at Last Stop on the D. I'm here with a special guest. What's up? What's your name? Who are you?
Adam Jones, Good Girl CEO. You already know what it is.
My man's. Yo, it's so good to see you.
Likewise, man. Took the trip all the way out here to rural Brooklyn, as they call it.
It's deep, yo. It's deep, yo. We over here in the Last Stop on the D studio, aka my crib. All right. His name is Adam, and this interview session's been at least a year in the making. I met Adam and his fiance at the time.
Indeed.
At Ramin's wedding. Shout out to Ramin, a longtime friend from NBC. And yeah, we hit it off after you told me about his plant-inspired technology plant company. So shout outs to Ramin for having smoke section at the wedding. I'll be doing the same. And shout outs to all the alcohol haters. Without further ado, it's Adam. Yo, what's your company called? What does it do?
What's up, Brandon? So, Good Grow is a plant-inspired technology and lifestyle brand. And there is some hemp involved, but we can talk about that a little bit later. The story of Good Grow really starts, honestly, back when I was going to school with Ramin, honestly. At Middlebury, and we found a little bag seed, cops of bud, and there was a little seed. And we also had this metal Jägermeister bucket, and I was like, what if we planted the seed in the Jägermeister bucket? So we borrowed everybody's desk lamp in the dorm, and we shined all these lights in this bucket, and eventually a plant emerged. And it was probably like one nug. I don't think it was more than like 3 grams. And we were such fiends, we microwaved that shit. I remember we didn't even, nothing about curing, nothing about nutrients. But it was so inspirational just to see in the least ideal of environments, a college dorm room, that a plant and life could emerge. And that had always been kind of in the back of my mind. And, life got busy. The first couple of years of my 20s, I was traveling internationally. Yeah. But once I got established, and this is 2019 now, fast forward, I'm living in Los Angeles by myself. And I decided to start growing some more house plants. And that was
done now, huh?
Oh yeah, man. It was so exciting. I wouldn't say that I was lonely, but the plants definitely kept me company. And
shout out to my plant.
Yeah, shout out to plants. And what happens is when plants are in that early stage of growth, you can quite literally see them growing before your eyes. You can see them sort of oscillate and follow the sun. If you do a time lapse, you can see how they stretch and how the growth happens. Really, it's really fascinating. So that journey led me to start developing some technology, some apparel, and just accessories around this whole hobby and passion of plants. And, right now, we're getting some pre-seed fundraising, and we're really trying to take Good Grow. Cut that. We're really trying to take Good Grow to the next level as it relates to just expanding this ecosystem of plant-based products that we know the market needs. So that's who I am. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I love plants, and really just trying to see where this grows next. Pun intended.
Word. Shout outs to all my New York City cats. Where are you from and how old are you? Adam is very handsome. African American male like myself. A very smart entrepreneur.
Spoken for.
Yeah, he's spoken for. Don't get it twisted. Where are you from? Where do you live? Where did these ideas even come from? Do you work in this or do you work in another industry?
Okay, so I can give you sort of my New York origin story and then my professional background. So I was born in the Bronx. Shout out to the Bronx. But I really grew up.
Shout out to the BX. I live there in Kingsbridge. Sorry, it's mandatory.
Shout out to Kingsbridge. Those are really my stopping grounds. But
shout out to the Bronx.
Many will tell you I'm probably the tamest Bronxite you'll ever meet. They're like, you don't have the Bronx accent. And I'm like, I do not. Spent my formative years actually in Queens, out in Rosedale. That's where I grew up. Really suburban kind of environment. And I remember, as a youth, going around, riding bicycles, digging holes, and just exploring nature. And that was something that brought me a lot of peace, especially since I went to school in the city, did that commute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm New York born and raised, and I feel like New York really has inspired Good Grow in the sense that this is a very, very man-made environment that we live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to kind of like balance that out, because humans need plants, we need to see green. It has a very deep psychological and physiological effect to be surrounded by plants.
Mm-hmm.
So that also kind of is the why behind Good Grow, right? You know, I'm an urban native, born and raised here in New York City, but you know, I went to school in Vermont with Ramin, Middlebury College, shout out to the Panthers. And being surrounded by nature just really brought me a lot of peace. So that's another element of Good Grow as well.
Are you a nature boy or a city guy?
It's funny. I think I'm a adult onset nature lover in the sense that, you know, I didn't grow up splitting wood or, you know, hunting animals, but it's something that I actively do try and involve in my adult life.
Okay.
I love water sports. I love hiking. I often go out during hunting season, not necessarily to hunt anything, but just to observe animals during these sort of like, you know, calendar periods of the spring and the fall, you know?
Yeah.
Because the world around us is always changing and the seasons is really the most primitive and important marker of time. So, you know, that's sort of my personal brand ethos.
Mm-hmm.
You also asked about my professional experience.
Yeah.
So, my career is really a two-part career, right? After graduating from Middlebury, I followed my other passion, which is language. So, traveled to Honduras, San Pedro Sula to be specific, and that's where I met my now wife. And I was teaching English to second through Honduras. That's another podcast, but Honduras is that's that real, you know, it's real out there. But it's,
shout outs to everybody in Honduras.
Shout out to my catrachos, man, my primos out there. Shout out Rasta, man, you know you are.
He knows what time it is.
Yeah, but that was different. And I spent the first kind of half of my career out of college, you know, traveling across Central America, really exploring that passion of language acquisition. Got certified to teach English to learners in foreign languages, and lived in Mexico City for a while too. And it was just incredible. And eventually, you know, once I realized that my friends working in tech were making six figures at my age, I decided that I need to transition.
Switch it up.
Yeah, that's where the second half of the career comes in. So
Word.
I had opportunities to make some really big impact at a fintech company called Sendwave, working with the Nigerian diaspora. I had a chance to work in a marketing agency as a solutions architect, so working with a lot of, you know, direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands and kind of finding out the selling points and the sort of business requirements for a lot of really unique websites. And then I found myself at Meta, sort of the big tech space, exploring automation and CRM products. Fast forward to, I guess, last year, worked at an agriculture company based here in Brooklyn. And they, you know, have greenhouses across the country. Their products are in Whole Foods, Costco. And that was really a pivotal moment for myself and Good Grow, because I understood that there's really big business around plants. And there's also a lot of technical problems that these large greenhouse operations haven't solved yet. And then just kind of from my own perspective, I wanted to be working in the tech space, and I still enjoy technology, of course. But I want to see technology that actually touches real world applications, right? Like it's not just about an like abstract software product that people can use. This is about technology really to understand how, you know, supply chains, the growth of plants, the impact of plants that people are purchasing and selling and donating, plants that die in transit or go to waste, and the plastic packaging, the refrigeration. So there's a whole real life world that, you know, is encoded and documented digitally that really fascinated me. So that's kind of also another part of Good Grow, right? Seeing how we can better leverage technology for people who are growing plants, people who are doing business with plants, people who just love plants generally.
Word, that's what's up. So go ahead and plug the website for them real quick.
Oh, goodgrow.io. IG, goodgrow.io. That's the website. Good Grow everything, Good Grow everywhere.
Good Grow all day. I've been to one event too. You guys got to pop out to an event. I'll share some more fun events.
Good Grow for the people. Good Grow for the, you know, we love community stuff.
Yeah. So that's dope. You are an amazing person. You're you know, you're just walking by. You know, most people wouldn't even know that about you. So I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for you. Can you tell us. I mean, let's just keep it a stack though. Real day one listeners here. Last time I'm gonna do know what time it is. They know where the studio is at. They know. I mean, some of y'all don't even know that I'm recording on 2 different microphones because I couldn't afford really 2 of the 2 expensive ones, which is what you're talking about. Right? But sometimes that be like that. Man.
Honored to have the nice mic, man.
Be like that. Can you share with me and the listeners just maybe a time where it wasn't so polished and things weren't so nice for you, and in kind of like what about that situation brought you into making good growth?
For sure. So I would say there's kind of 2 aspects, 2 challenges that I think any entrepreneur struggles with, myself being no exception. I think that there's a sort of like personal aspect of doing business, and then there's a sort of professional aspect. So I'm sure you're no stranger to just like burning money, making expensive mistakes. So Good Grow, if you looked at Good Grow 2 years ago, you would think that Good Grow was an apparel business. I was really, really passionate about designing these like weed-inspired hoodies and shirts, and that is still a passion of mine. That's why I call Good Grow a technology and lifestyle brand. But I poured a lot of money into, designing hoodies and designing shirts, and I still have a big stack of hoodies in the crib. And shout out to my wife because she lets that rock. But
that's why.
Yeah, I love Jessica. But it's hard, like making expensive mistakes and realizing that maybe you're not that good at like a retail business. Maybe you're not that good at managing business finances. So it's like, what do you do? Like sometimes you may have to just like take the L. Sometimes you have to, hire out and find somebody else's expertise. But sort of, I remember at the very beginning of this being like, I'm gonna sell all these hoodies, I'm gonna make 10 bands, and being so maybe overly optimistic. And then, a couple years later, like still, working through that sort of disappointment and then sort of pivoting and taking the disappointment and channeling it into, it's not over yet. Like, maybe I learned something, maybe I wasn't as good at this as I thought I was, but like, you can always be better, And the journey of an entrepreneur as well, like, a lot of us don't make it transparently, So it's like, you have to.
Don't make it.
Exactly. So, but you have to continue the journey, right? Because like, if you don't go through those struggles, you're never going to make it. You'll never even know. So it's better to have tried and been unsuccessful, but have tried to the fullest than it is to sort of like back out. And that's not to say you shouldn't know when to sort of hold them and fold them, but that is to say that you should go into the business with the intention to succeed, and with the sort of awareness to know when you need to pivot or pause.
That's not an easy thing to learn.
No, not at all.
You're not like 21 or 22 either.
No.
How old are you?
32.
Okay, word. Yeah, like that's something I think. I learned probably in my 30s as well. So I feel you on that. And
then, kind of to go off that, like transparently, when you're bootstrapping a business, with your own funds, and then you're also like in a relationship, right? Like that's something you have to negotiate too, because it's like, like your time, your money, you're investing in something. So it's like, it's not necessarily, or rather, it is kind of a zero-sum game, right? It's like you're spending time and money on your passion project, but that time and money, like it can have a greater impact elsewhere if you're, so it's something you really have to think about as an entrepreneur, right?
Right, true. Where the value comes from me.
Exactly.
Like in podcasting and in acting, I get, probably 1 gig a month. And whether it pays $50 or $500 or $700, like that, like it doesn't matter for me. That's the value, just being able to go hit a set, network with people.
Absolutely.
Podcasting is tough. I mean, I have about 8 of these like expensive microphones, and we're only using 2 of them. But you learn just like, okay, cool. I'm going to manage my equipment, and shout outs to my partner as well, who deals with just the sheer mountain of equipment that we're sitting next to right now. So why did you start Good Grow? What's the point? Why do we want to know about Good Grow?
What's the point? So being at a large agriculture sort of tech outfit, I was really, really impressed and really, really disappointed at the same time. And I think this is kind of a theme throughout my experience just in sort of the corporate tech space in general. I think that there is a lack of diversity as it relates to ideas.
Mm.
And there are just problems that people haven't been brave or creative enough to solve for yet.
Both brave and creative, I agree.
Yeah. I just found myself really disillusioned at a couple of points in my career. And I also kind of, as I learned more about technology and how the sausage is made, so to speak, I realized that, like, you're a really intelligent black man, I'm a really intelligent black man, and there are a bunch of really intelligent, black and brown people who have been in one way or another sort of dispossessed or not allowed to reach their full potential in this space.
Yeah.
So I don't often tell this story because, not to say that Good Growth is not a black business or a black owned business, but I don't necessarily think that that's the main sort of value proposition that I'm inclined to share immediately. But that's a very, very deep part of my ethos, and I do it for, I do it for people who, would love to have a chance to sort of work and pioneer and innovate in this space. So that's a big part of my why. And then, quite frankly, like, they haven't solved for this problem yet. Like, I'm at a $500 million agriculture company, and they're still doing things with clipboards.
Oh, God.
All the black and brown people are in the greenhouse. I'm the only black guy in the front of the office. Like, it's like, these were things that really kind of perturbed and bothered me. And just seeing how leadership was just so flippant and nonchalant about, like, expensive problems, and how, like, the diversity was really just kind of like lip service. That also is like, that's like my anime origin story. That's like my Arthur balled up fist. You feel me?
Yeah.
But transparently, like, I think that plants are amazing.
The greenhouse. All the black people in the greenhouse.
Black and brown
it's giving
people.
plantation 2.0.
Well, I mean, look, if you really do the math, and this is another really interesting piece about Good Grow too, like, plants, if you think about the United States and just a story of plants, like, it's unit economics, right? Like, the wealth of the United States was built on essentially free labor for plant-based commodities, right? That's, that is what all of these buildings from the 1800s and 1700s, that is the economic force that the country's based off of, right? And that's still a business problem that agricultural companies are solving for, right? So, like, when I'm at this unnamed agriculture company, like, one of the projects that I worked on was analyzing the cost of goods sold across greenhouses everywhere in the country, right?
Okay.
And the cost of goods sold is different when you have, California, which has strong labor laws and high, hourly rates for their employees. And then you have a place like Virginia, for example, where labor is a little bit more organized and you kind of have to rely on more sort of ad hoc labor. And then you have plastic, the refrigeration, the distance that these things are traveling. So there are just a lot of different nuances I learned about, like, the agriculture industry, and I felt like, I would much rather buy basil from Brandon, who has a couple of basil plants on his windowsill. He's somebody that I know.
Right.
We can come over and make a caprese salad or a, mozzarella, whatever. And, like, there's a little bit more of a human story to that. I think when we did the initial sort of pre-interview, we talked about the milkman.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a milkman, right? I like the idea of, like, a more personal agricultural sort of economic system. And that's sort of behind that's like the third piece of Good Grow, right? Like, you came to one of my events. The plant-based, the plant-growing, the plant-loving community is so, so important to me and the brand. So, insofar as I can help sort of galvanize and activate those people, like, that's what we're here for.
Right. Word.
I'm monologuing a lot, bro. So please feel free to interrupt me.
This is what we need.
This is my soapbox, bro.
Yeah, good. No, I mean, this is why I wanted you up here, because not just what you've done, but your personality and your character, your ability to kind of, like, give it to listeners in that way. So that's why you're here. So tell me a little bit about what Good Grow's going to do, or some of your, future plans for Good Grow now.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned before, we're actively raising pre-seed funds. And we have a very, very ambitious calendar from between now and Q2 of 2025. So we've just brought on a founding engineer through our collaboration with the Columbia Technology Ventures.
Shout out to the engineer.
Yeah, no, he's great. He knows who he is. He'll probably listen to this.
Yes. Oh, he has to.
Oh, absolutely.
He has to.
I'm DMing it to you directly.
Spam him with these links.
Yes. So essentially, the goal is a 3-part go-to-market strategy. which kind of combines the app development, which is a solution for growers, hardware development, which is modular smart planters that can beautify your home and also automate your grows, and then a sort of rebranding and repositioning with some of our partners down in Colombia, which is another place we have a very, very strong community, in just sort of repositioning the brand. As I mentioned earlier, we've done a lot of different soul searching and pivots from a sort of underground weed-inspired clothing brand to a technology and lifestyle brand that is sort of a blend of all aspects of plant love and plant community and plant cultivation. So in short, that's where we're growing, pun still intended. So we're actively pitching, going to be reaching out to some Black VC funds, going to be reaching out to just people who want to be a part of this vision and this mission, and very much looking forward to it.
Beautiful. That's what's up. I also liked your t-shirts that day. If I wasn't on that fun employment fund, I would have copped them. But I'm going to have to grab some.
Listen, matter of fact, let's just do a promo code. Yes. Last stop on the D. We're going to give you 20% off, man. 20% off the hoodies, 20% off the shirts. Very, very limited supply. Let's go. Last stop on the D, man. Shout out to...
All one word.
Yes. We're gonna make that. We're gonna put that right here on the screen. No, right here. Let's get that right there. Yes. We got a little bit of stock left, so get yours while you can. Fall's coming up, and we make fly shit. Plain and simple.
Yeah, they do make fly shit, y'all. I want y'all to see some of the stuff. If you're listening to this on your phone, go ahead and check out the Instagram. Give them a follow. Like, it's fire work they're doing, and only more fire work to come. Damn, man, I can't believe that 15 minutes went by so fast. It's so quick.
I probably talked so much.
How quick is that?
Yeah,
all
man.
Right, so I got one audience question. Is that cool? Can I do
Sure.
This came from an audience member / somebody who listens to this on a regular basis. Okay. So your company is fire. You mentioned, or I mentioned hemp. What's the difference between hemp and marijuana for people that listen to this don't know the difference?
Ooh, okay. So disclaimer. This is not legal advice. Please consult all local, state, and federal laws prior to involving yourself in anything related to controlled substances or plants.
Yes. Shout out legal.
That being said, my understanding is that hemp is the fiber and the fabric that is used. And there's a lot of really interesting lore and reasons why hemp is no longer the gold standard for durable fabric in the United States. Won't get into that here. But in short, hemp is fabric that's often used for, ropes, clothing, bags. And the reason why hemp is amazing is because cannabis, hemp, the plant, it generates biomass incredibly quickly. So it was, prior to like the early 1900s, very, very widely cultivated for that very purpose, right? Yeah. Fabrics, textiles, etc.
Right.
When we talk about cannabis or marijuana, people are really thinking about the THC or the psychoactive effect of the plant, because cannabis as a plant, like, you can make a salad with the fan leaves. Like, it's an incredible plant.
You can make a salad from it?
Oh, I be eating fan leaves, man. Like, when I have my little home grows, like, I make weed tea. I make, and this is not even psychoactive. It just tastes good. It's a plant. Yeah. So
it's a lesser THC content. Is that what it is?
There's no THC content because you could eat a weed plant right now and it wouldn't get you high. You need to introduce heat, and there's a little bit of
combustion. Yes,
exactly.
The THC.
Exactly. There's a temperature threshold in order to convert this sort of inert plant product into a psychoactive consumable product, but that's for the science people to get into.
Yeah. No, that's what we need for the aunties and all my moms and aunties that listen to this shit.
Yeah,
that's the difference. It's safe. You guys can still buy stuff from me. You're not gonna get high.
Yeah. No, the shirts won't get you high. It's just high fashion.
High fashion.
Yeah, but that's my understanding. And like I said, there are some, like, each cannabis plant is different. So you could grow a cannabis plant that has 0.001% THC. Won't get you stoned at all, but it grows quickly, and you could use it to make whatever type of textile or fabric you want. But the weed or the cannabis or marijuana that people typically tend to be interested in, it has the CBD, THC, or some type of psychoactive element that introduces euphoria or whatever.
Yeah. That's what's interesting about this in general to me. Like, I would just want to share, like, it's cool to smoke weed. I mean, I'm obviously on a tea break right now. Obviously, it's not obvious to some people. I guess I probably always fucking.
Almost did a spit take.
It's true. People are always like, why do you look? I'm like, no, my eyes are just naturally low. I smile really hard. Sorry. Yeah, but it's just cool that other than using marijuana for recreational use, there's another purpose to it in using hemp. And I think that's the coolest part of this is that we don't have to use it like other people use it. We can use this for other things. We can make rope, we can make textiles, we can make clothing. Yeah. And yeah, that's why I was like, yo, please tell me more. At somebody else's wedding, yo, tell me more about this. I was like,
yeah, for sure.
More. That sounds really fucking cool.
And transparently, I think that people really need to just educate themselves on cannabis and just all sort of like, I don't want to say controlled substances, but like, excuse me, just learn more about plants. Just educate yourself about plants. Understand like why these things are controlled or illegal or stigmatized in society, because it's just super important, right? Like these are naturally occurring organisms that have been on this planet for centuries, eons, millennia, right? And it's only this very, very slim segment of history where they've been thrust into the public sphere in such a controversial light. So I really do encourage all of you, for the aunties who, you know, maybe they don't support ganja or weed or reefer, as my mom likes to call it, just educate yourself.
Reefer.
Yeah, that's from the 70s.
Reefer madness.
And that's not to say that you need to condone or encourage, you know, the use or consumption, but just educate yourself on the sort of why, the benefits and the drawback, because I think that we have so much education and just publicity around alcohol and tobacco, but there's a wide variety of other plants that people just haven't had the chance to look into yet.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, the last stop on this podcast interview is any shout outs you may have.
I want to give shout out to Ramin. I want to give a huge shout out to 3 people who I couldn't have done this business without. Firstly, Saya, amazing collaborator, amazing visual artist. He's the one who designed a lot of our initial work, the logo. If you check out our Instagram, you'll see some really, really amazing stuff. I also want to shout out Naheya Dispensary and all the good folks there. We had a wonderful event in Medellin. Y'all know who you are. Saludos de todos los parces allá en Medellin. Ahorita estoy planeando, quiero visitar a ustedes pronto. And I also want to shout out Dane Kane, really, really good friend of mine, founder of Brokers Club, really, really visionary, creative entrepreneur as well. He's somebody that you should probably have on the podcast next, transparently. So,
shout out to you.
Yeah, and I know we only got a couple, so we got 27 seconds left in the footage. But yeah, for sure. And goodgrow.io, follow, Instagram, website. We got it all, man. Check us out.
Last Stop on the D, all one word. Last Stop on the D on Instagram. Email me at laststoponthed@gmail.com if you got any questions, comments, or concerns. Yeah, man, I'm just so happy. A minute or less. What music are you listening to now? And the other one was like, what Olympic events were you interested in? Right now it's August. It's the middle of the summer. It's hot as shit up in the studio. What were you looking forward to in the Olympics if you watched anything?
Okay, I'll answer the music one first.
Yeah.
They freed World Bus. Big up Vibes Content. I've been listening to some vibes, man. I'm just a really big fan of dance hall. Grew up in New York, and the music I listened to growing up, especially out there in Queens, a lot of dance hall, a lot of reggae. So that's like, for me, it's a really summer sound. So that's my current earworm. I also like a lot of female vocalists too. I'm trying to think of, there's a group called Men I Trust, which I really like. And there's also a song called Playground Love by Air. Just vibes, just chill stuff. Olympics has been really entertaining. I mentioned I'm a big fan of water sports earlier. I peaked the sailing. That was kind of a vibe. I love soccer. So I've been watching a lot of soccer, and I love tennis because I feel like soccer and tennis are really great demonstrations of like pure athleticism and coordination. And they're more like accessible sports too. So like we could pick up a soccer ball or a tennis racket and just, we could go at it, we could play. And obviously the memes about the running, the pole vault. So Olympics has been great. My wife is really into it, so it's been a fun way for us to kind of just get together and enjoy.
Yes, that's what's up. Shout outs to France. Shout outs to all my French people. Shout outs to Montcure. Shout outs to all the. Where's Manoa at right now? Where's BB at? Yo, so yeah, all my Frenchies. Yo, the Olympics was fire. My favorite was just Olympic basketball. I'm a huge LeBron James fan.
The court is smaller. I know
a little bit smaller. Yeah,
that's
shorter.
Strange to me. Yeah, I don't necessarily. I'm not used to the Olympic format of basketball, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah,
it's been some good play.
Yeah. Before we get into deep stuff, what I'm listening to right now, I should cheat and look at my Spotify. But yeah, I think the last song I think I saved was from the Don Toliver album.
Okay.
I gotta get out of the ratchet shit, but
yeah, make good music.
Ratchet shit. I'm also, what's today? August 8th? Yeah, I listened to the 100 Gigs for your head top, and shout outs to you if you know what that is, because I'm really fucking with it. I'm actually fucking with it. Like, I'm down off my high horse. I can't pretend.
Did he actually release it on Spotify? You gotta download that whole shit. Okay.
You just visit the website. I'll play one for you after this.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it. Last stop on the D out. Last stop on the D out. Say bye.
Peace out.
Peace.